Imagine opening your refrigerator, convinced you've made the best choice to store your food, only to discover that, in reality, some of it could pose a threat to your health. It sounds like a science fiction movie, but it's a scientifically proven reality that affects millions of homes in Italy and around the world. What you're about to discover could revolutionize the way you think about food storage and, above all, protect your well-being and that of your loved ones. For decades, the refrigerator has been a symbol of modernity and food hygiene, a bulwark against spoilage and bacterial growth. And to a large extent, it's true. For many foods, cold is essential. However, the science of nutrition and food chemistry has made great strides, revealing that not all foods react the same way to low temperatures. Some, in fact, undergo chemical transformations that not only alter their flavor and texture, but can also generate potentially harmful compounds. We're not talking about spoiled or expired foods, but rather fresh, everyday products that, if improperly stored, lose their beneficial properties, or worse still, develop unwanted substances. This is particularly relevant for the general population, but it's even more important for those over 55, an age when the body may be more sensitive to certain risk factors. Awareness is the first step toward a healthier, more informed life. One of the most concerning compounds that can form due to improper storage is acrylamide. Classified by the World Health Organization as a probable human carcinogen, acrylamide forms naturally in starchy and sugary foods, especially during high-temperature cooking, frying, baking, toasting. The problem arises when refrigerated storage alters the chemical composition of certain foods, making them more susceptible to the formation of this substance. Cold temperatures can trigger cold-induced sweetening, a process in which starches convert into simple sugars. These sugars, when exposed to heat, react with the amino acids present in the food, producing acrylamide. Understanding this mechanism is essential for making informed choices and protecting our long-term health. I'm Dr. Matteo, a physician specializing in preventive medicine with over 20 years of experience. I've dedicated my career to studying how our daily habits affect our health. I've collaborated with various research institutions across Europe, and I've seen too many patients struggle with illnesses that could have been mitigated or avoided with simple lifestyle changes, including food preservation. Today, I want to share with you 7 common foods that, if refrigerated, can become unhealthy or even harmful. Get ready to take notes, because this information could radically change the way you manage your kitchen and, consequently, your health. It's a small effort that can yield big benefits. How many times have you put potatoes in the refrigerator drawer, thinking it will prolong their freshness? It's a common mistake, but one with significant consequences. At temperatures below 7 degrees Celsius, the starches in potatoes begin to convert into simple sugars. This process, known as cold-induced sweetening, alters not only the flavor of potatoes, making them sweeter, but also their chemical composition. When these sweetened potatoes are cooked at high temperatures, especially when fried or roasted, the sugars react with asparagine, an amino acid found in potatoes, forming high amounts of acrylamide. To best store them, choose a cool, dry, dark, and well-ventilated place, such as a cellar or pantry. In these conditions, potatoes can last for several weeks, maintaining their properties intact and reducing the risk of acrylamide formation. Tomatoes are a mainstay of the Mediterranean diet, rich in lycopene, a powerful antioxidant. However, the refrigerator is their worst enemy. Low temperatures stunt the ripening process, which is crucial for the development of flavor and aroma. The volatile compounds that give tomatoes their distinctive flavor are degraded by the cold, leaving them tasteless and mealy. Furthermore, cold temperatures can damage tomato cell membranes, altering their texture and making them soft. To preserve their vibrant flavor and lycopene content, store tomatoes at room temperature, away from direct sunlight. If they're very ripe and you want to extend their shelf life by a day or two, you can refrigerate them, but take them out at least an hour before eating to allow the flavors to revitalize. Refrigerating bread is a common mistake many people make to prevent mold. However, the cold accelerates a process called starch retrogradation. This phenomenon causes starch molecules to recrystallize, making bread stale, tough, and rubbery much faster than it would at room temperature. Stale bread is not only less appetizing, but can also be more difficult to digest, especially for those with sensitive digestive systems. The best solution for storing bread for a few days is a paper bag or a bread bin at room temperature. If you want to keep it longer, the freezer is the ideal choice. Freeze sliced bread and thaw it as needed. It will retain its freshness much better than in the refrigerator. Avocado, beloved for its healthy fats and nutritional properties, is another food that shouldn't be stored in the refrigerator, at least not when unripe. Low temperatures completely halt the ripening process. An unripe avocado stored in the refrigerator will remain hard and inedible indefinitely. To ripen an avocado, store it at room temperature, perhaps in a paper bag with a banana or apple, which releases ethylene, a gas that accelerates ripening. Once the avocado is ripe and soft to the touch, you can store it in the refrigerator for up to 2 days to further slow the ripening process and extend its shelf life. Bananas are an excellent source of energy and potassium, but their storage is often misunderstood. Refrigerating them while they're still green or yellow blocks the production of ethylene, the plant hormone responsible for ripening. This means the bananas won't ripen properly and will remain unripe and tasteless. Furthermore, cold temperatures damage the skin's cell walls, causing it to brown rapidly, although the flesh may remain intact for a while. For even ripening and to preserve their sweet flavor, store bananas at room temperature, preferably hanging or separated to prevent them from squeezing and ripening too quickly. Once ripe, if you don't eat them immediately, you can refrigerate them to slow further ripening, but expect the skin to darken. Garlic, a powerful health ally with antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties, doesn't tolerate the humidity of the refrigerator. The cold, humid environment of the refrigerator can encourage the bulbs to germinate, causing them to become rubbery and less flavorful. Furthermore, humidity can lead to mold growth, rendering the garlic unusable. To keep garlic fresh, flavorful, and rich in its beneficial properties, store it in a cool, dry, dark, and well-ventilated place. A net or basket in the pantry is ideal. In these conditions, garlic can last for several weeks or even months, ready to enrich your dishes and support your health. Honey is one of nature's most stable and long-lasting foods, thanks to its low water content and high sugar concentration, which make it an inhospitable environment for bacterial growth. Many people refrigerate it when it begins to crystallize, thinking it will slow the process. However, the cold accelerates crystallization, making it thicker and more difficult to use. Crystallization is a natural process and does not alter the quality or nutritional properties of honey. To return it to a liquid state, simply heat it gently in a double boiler. The best way to store honey is at room temperature in a tightly closed glass jar away from direct sunlight. Under these conditions, honey can last indefinitely, retaining all its extraordinary properties. Now that you know which foods should never end up in the refrigerator, you might feel a little overwhelmed. But don't worry, you don't need to completely overturn your habits. Small changes can make a big difference. Start by creating dedicated spaces in your kitchen, a drawer or basket for potatoes and garlic, a bowl on the counter for tomatoes and avocados, a hook for bananas. Notice the difference in flavor and texture when you cook properly preserved foods. You'll notice greater freshness, a more intense flavor, and better overall quality. Talk to your family and involve them in this change. Explain the reasons behind these new habits. Together, you can improve everyone's health and well-being. Knowledge is power, and now you have the tools to make more informed choices about your diet. I hope this information has been helpful and given you a new perspective on food preservation. Remember, your health and that of your loved ones are precious. Every small change in your daily habits can lead to big long-term results. It's not just about avoiding potential risks, but also about maximizing the nutritional benefits and enjoyment of food. Your body deserves the best, and now you have more tools to protect and nourish it properly. Embark on this journey toward a healthier, more conscious, and more energetic life. Every small step counts. Don't let misinformation compromise your health. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future valuable tips. Turn on the notification bell to stay up to date. Share this video with friends and family. You could help them make healthier choices. And you, what habits will you change after watching this video? Leave a comment below and tell us about your experience. Your participation is essential to building a more informed and aware community.